So there's a glimpse in the back of what's coming up in this video. We fitted a new kitchen in the house, so stay tuned if you want to see more. We popped into Bric-a-Marche to look at the kitchens. There's some lovely kitchens in here. I'll give you a quick look round. Lots of really nice kitchens set up on display, but they're all at least 8 weeks delivery. And they're not bad prices. They could get expensive. The one they do have in stock is the cheapest one, which is the one we're going to go for. Got quite a 3.6 metre kitchen that we want to fit out. So looking at all this, the units are only going to add up to about less than 500 euros, so that's not bad, and they come with all the handles and everything. And for the top, we only want these small ones to fit on top of our ledge on the kitchen. So we're going to upgrade the worktops and see what we can get. So we've been a bit delayed starting the kitchen. There's the wall that I started last summer. The plan today is to fill that into the roof and cover that in a layer of cement so it's sealed up. And this top part is where we're going to put the top cabinets are going to go along there, set back, just overlapping the edge. I need to make that completely smooth, ready for it. Also going to run the wires through there that are going to have the electrics around the kitchen. So overall the length is 3.6 metres. We've already bought the worktops and some of the cabinets from Bric-a-Marche. We've spent just over £500, and that's for tiles, hopefully all the cement we need. We've already got the bricks, and then we've got about 6 cabinets on order we've got to go back and get within a week, hopefully. But this first corner looks quite higgledy-piggledy. I've got to square that off and make it smooth with the cement. So I'm going to magically clear that away. We have a couple of days delay because of our back door falling off, which we've had to repair and replace. So I've treated myself to a new set of trowels and brought them over from the UK. They're basically 3 different size trowels and a big flat trowel. Flat trowel I'm hoping will be good at making a smooth wall, and then my mixing trowels and cement laying trowels. There is also this little tool. Looks like it's for running in between bricks. The way I'm going to approach this is using a bucket today rather than firing up a cement mixer. Just do a bucket of cement at a time. So that's all cleared, ready for me to start. Just disconnected the electrics, moved them out of the way for now. And outside, all set up, got me lovely new trowels, my bucket, water, sand, cement, and I'm going to mix it with that. So I'm going to mix up the first batch and get some of the bricks over. So I've mixed up the cement, quite firm. I think that looks about the right consistency at the moment. So I'm going to try that out. I've even set up a bowl for keeping my trowels nice and wet and clean. I'm determined with these new ones to look after them. So yeah, I used about half a bag of the sand, a quarter of the bag of the cement. We're using the lime cement because it definitely lets moisture out, as we found in the front bedroom. The walls are a lot lower humidity or percentage water than anything with concrete on. So gonna lime cement them. That's the mix. Now going to set up in the kitchen. So with these bricks you can just chip away with a hammer. I've chipped one to half size. The corner broke, but that's wedged in there for now. That should be a good base for cementing round. I need to just make some shapes to go in here now and fill them in as best I can. So worked out if I cut this shape out of the blocks, basically half, and then that pretty much fits into the gap. I just pad under it and cement over it. So I've started in this corner. I'm gonna let it dry because I filled in a few gaps there. As that dries, I better cement that again. I'm just gonna give it all a quick light covering. So like I say, it's airtight for insulation and it'll be mouse and insect proof. So that's the first 2 bucketfuls. Probably about a third of the way along now. It's going quite well. Sealing up the wall and trying to make this flat along the top, or as flat as I can. Removing the tiles that are on the wall as well. We're going to retile. I've just started building up this corner, a couple of big blocks. Again, I'll just let it dry, keep building that up as I go along. So next stage really is to clear the next part of the kitchen. It's going to get a bit more awkward now with the sink in the way, but just got to keep on making progress. So continuing the wall, it took me about an hour or so to do that. That's 2 bucketfuls. Smoothing off the top, whipped all the tiles off the side. Need to let it dry a bit more before I go back to that end and rebuild. But yeah, the end is in sight. There's a few gaps I need to fill in a bit better. I need to let that dry and then keep layering it into the top, and also wiping down the wood to try and keep it clean. But going well. So on to the next day. Just going to try and fill that in now at the end and smooth everything over that's going to be visible and fill in all the gaps at the top. So I've mixed up another batch of cement. It's 2 and a bit to 1 lime cement to sand. So that end's all filled in now. I've smoothed off quite a bit along the top, filled in all the gaps. And what I've done now is I've just wrenched the tap forward, sink forward, so there's a gap, because I'm looking at tiling all of this as the next stage around the corner. And I got my old friend, trusty sledgehammer. So the idea is to knock out this end of the wall so it still holds the sink up for now. Obviously that wall's going to go, but just so I can move on to the next stage. The pipes, because we're keeping the sink, we're keeping the taps, we're trying to do everything as low budget as we can. So the taps have come outwards from the wall, okay, so that's fine. And then this bit of wall here holding it up. It looks like it's only the red brick, so I'll give it a tap with a hammer, sledgehammer. Hopefully I can knock out these top corners. Because the tiles I've got will, without cutting them, I can put them as a backboard and then butt everything up to them. So that was pretty easy, just give it a tap. It's only those red bricks. Just knocked out the any brick hitting the wall. So now I'll be able to tile down here. These are the look at the tiles. I'm planning on mounting them that way up, all along the kitchen and around the end. So we're going to have a quick tidy up now before we look at the next stage. So I'm mixing up my grout, basically making it so it's like thick ice cream. Just keep mixing it until all the lumps and bumps are out of it, and hopefully that'll be firm enough. So I've put the first corner ones up. The one here had to do a lot of filling behind it to make it level. I spirit leveled it. The top of there needs filling in a little bit. And what I'm doing is basically just spreading the thick cement all over the tile. And then once it's spread around, just making it uneven. Putting it in place and then supporting it with another tile. I have got lots of tiles, bought 2 packs, and this is 1 pack here. And obviously as they dry, I better use these ones at the bottom and move them along. So I'm going to position this one now. So I've just added 2 more. Just going to wipe over the cement lines. I've just kind of grouted between them and around and along the top, seal the top in, and giving them a bit of support because they're just slightly slipping. They're quite heavy tiles, but that's cleaned up nice. And the cabinet will go over this little groove I've left here. I'm going to run the wire in there, just have it coming over between the cabinet and the front. So the tiles are all in. Got extremely lucky. The one at the end, which I was expecting to have to cut, literally lined up with the end of that top, so perfect. I've removed the supporting ones from here already and used those. So that's the tile back. Added 2 to the top here because we're going to have cupboards, but they're not going to go to the very end, so you will be able to see around that side. So that should just cover those up. So yeah, really pleased how that's gone on. Just got to let it all set now, and then I've smoothed over the top of this where the units are going to sit on, but tomorrow I'm going to do a bit more, get some lime cement and give it a proper covering on top. So we've got kitchen cabinets everywhere. Bric and Marche have delivered on their promise. And we went to pick up all the rest of the cabinets today. So they're all here now. All the tiles have stuck on the wall okay. So I've mixed up another batch of cement, lime cement, to just get this back platform nice and flat. And then we're going to paint around the back of the cupboards as well. So today, get the cement on for the shelf where the top cabinets are going to sit, and give all the back splash a good paint over. So that's the side all cemented. It all looks pretty flat. I've done it all the way up to the end, even though we're not doing the cabinets to the very end. You can see how unstraight this wall is though. It gets thicker and thicker as you go up, so hopefully we'll disguise all that with the cabinets. Just got this paint, got it from the local shop for about 12 euros. Interior, exterior white paint. Just going to go up around the backs and the side, because the cabinets are going to come about halfway up. So hopefully just make it look nicer from behind. So that's behind the cabinets all painted white, and around the corner at the end there, well, just to the end. So we're going to leave that to dry. It's splashed in paint, but it doesn't matter, it's only going to have cabinets on top of it. But it all looks pretty smooth. Ready for fitting the cabinets tomorrow. And first thing in the morning, it's demolish these 2 little walls that hold up the sink at the moment, and get the whole sink out of the way so we can look at putting the cabinets in. Jackie's about 3/4 of the way through the cabinet build. So today we're hoping to get everything installed, all the units finished building. I'm about to rip out this sink, which involves the old trusty sledgehammer. I'll probably video myself knocking that down, and then get this area completely cleared so we can install all the units, worktops, reinstall the sink and everything. So far I think we've put together about 7 days effort into this between the two of us, about 3.5 days each. So if we can finish today, that would be great. We saved ourselves sort of 9 days labour. That's our rough calculation. So I've detached the drain from the sink. I'm now going to lift the whole sink unit off. I dread to think what's under here. We'll take it off and have a look. So that's the sink out. You can see these two, they're quite flimsy walls. I'm going to knock down. Just be careful with that. I'll just be careful with the piping. Not too bad under the sink. It's a few old cobwebs, but hopefully old dead spiders. So what I'm going to do now is just strip this all back and get the sink out of that homemade worktop and see where we are. So the sink came out quite easy, just a few screws attached to bits of wood along the side. We've got this sort of backsplash we're going to be putting on the back of the kitchen, making sure that's going to fit behind the taps, and it just about does. The sink already had cutouts for the 2 tap pipes, so we're going to do that. I think really they're bathroom taps, but they work really well. Sink works really well, plumbs really well. We've probably saved over €200 by repurposing or reusing these. The other thing is, this is all high pressure steel piping plumbing. It doesn't look great, but it all works. And the hot tap has got no joint to even undo and change. So it would have meant cutting that pipe and fitting new junctions for a new tap, but hopefully it's going to look great. A sink like this is probably well over 200, a double drainer that's really quite thick and strong, so we're pleased to be keeping it, just going to clean it up a bit. So next stage, I'm going to knock these 2 walls down and clear the area completely. Demolishing nicely. So the wall came down easy enough, but the bit on the floor is really concreted in, so I've just got the power chisel out. Give it a smash with that. That really does make short work of it. I was doing that one-handed. So those 2 bits of kit, I've sorted that out. The 2 walls are gone. No pipe damage. And made quite a pile of rubble. Two bags of rubble, big pile of rubble. The second wall, I managed to get a massive chunk of wall out at one time. I could just carry that, it was just big enough. But it's not going to go to waste. I am planning soon to build sheds here, so I'm sure that'll be good footing materials and help with the construction of the sheds. So I've just laid in the top cupboards, how they're going to fit in. What we're going to do is fix them down at the back, at the bottom, so they fix to the wall at the back, fix downwards and fix them together. So I'm going to start the first one. We want it to lip out a little bit, so I'm going to drill a couple of holes, move it out, drill holes in the wall going down and attach 2 screws to hold it in. And then when we do the next one, we'll join the 2 cabinets together as well. So overall there'll be 12 screws holding it down and it'll all be joined to each other. I'm going to use the trusty spirit level to try and level it all up as we go. So 4 of the cabinets are attached, screwed down at the bottom and supported, and they're screwed to each other, not from this side, from that side. We're going to get shelf liners, like they all seem to use them in Portugal, to go in there, so that'll cover the screw heads as well. So that's a good idea. 2 to go. I've just drilled these out. I've got to mark the holes and drill into the shelf now to fix these on and screw them together. So that's all 6 up. We've added these little rubber things to stop the door banging when you shut it, and I've got this LED kit, so I'm going to try and put that underneath the edge of it all now, see what that looks like. Well, they certainly work. They were only €11.99, but they're really good quality. They're sort of very rubbery and seem to stick on very well. So I think they're going to look great above a worktop. I've got a little remote control. Just trying to work out how to use that remote control at the moment. Oh, we can change the colours. I'm not sure you can actually have white. I think it has to be multicoloured like that. We'll have a play about with that. But yeah, nice little effect for just a few euros. So we're just putting the units in place, making sure we've got every calculation right. We've got to the sink unit, made a hole for the pipe, but where the waste pipe goes to, I'm going to cut round. So I'm just going to drill out a sort of semicircle in this back unit to go around that pipe, and then the unit should go back. So we're carefully setting the legs, getting it level. All the door fronts and drawer fronts will be adjusted at the end. They're just on loose for now, but it's going in really nicely, or at least it's fitting and our calculations are working. So we've just positioned the worktop up on top of put all the units in place and marked out the sink. Now comes probably the worst bit. I've got to cut this sink out. So marked out, I know I've got to cut like just over a centimetre on the inside of this cut hole. I've got the jigsaw, got the drill. I'm going to drill some holes, start the cut. So I've drilled out one side and done the long cut. It does look a little bit wobbly, and my painted line is soon disappearing, but I'm pretty confident that's in the right place. I'm going to cut these angles now, curves, but I'm not going to cut across sideways till the very end. So I've cut, I don't know, 3/4 of the way around, over 3/4. Just got this final cut to do across here, which I'm going to do now. This could end in disaster or success. Ends in disaster. It's a €65 mistake. Back to Brico Marché. Okay. Finished cutting. I'm hoping now this will just lift out. It does. And the next big hope is that the sink fits it. So as if by magic, the sink has fitted in. It's not sealed in or anything yet, we've got to pull all the covers off. But we're calling it a day today. And we'll carry on with it tomorrow. But overall, we're delighted, it's going really well. Cutting that sink out was quite worrying, but success. So we're continuing today. We've got the worktop, second part of the worktop to go in. We knew it wasn't square, so we've carefully measured, and basically it's 141 centimetres at the back, 136 centimetres at half at the front. So we've got the jigsaw, marked the line, laid it on the dining room table because it's raining outside today, and we're going to cut this out. Hopefully it will fit like a glove. So the new worktop fitted, the end part. We've got an edging strip there and one at that end we glued on. What we're going to do now is we took the sink out. We're going to put a bead of silicone around the sink before we attach it. And I got this ultra good stuff, T-Rex, so it'll be super strong. So it's got to feed that up, put it back in, screw that in, and then fix the worktops together. So we've attached everything and done some sealing around the sink. The black sealant is very messy and sticky, but we think we've got most of it on it. Need a bit of tidying up. There's not a straight wall, so behind the units we've siliconed, but we've had to blob it along some bits. But we are putting a backsplash thing up there, and we're going to put some more silicone. We're just letting it all set, and we've clamped the units to the worktops as well. So all looking good, just the final stages now. So the kitchen's coming together nicely. We're just doing a bit of tidying up of the trim around the back. We have got these legs on here. They look quite good, but we want to put a like a board along it. But we're leaving that till we do the rest of the kitchen and the floor. We've got the clips that go on it, and the ones at the back here, because the floor's very slopey. And when we do the kitchen, we're going to try and level the floor, at least up to the units. A couple of tiles supporting it under there because the legs didn't quite extend enough. So looking good. We have got some worktop left over. We're going to be moving this fridge, and because the gas bottle no longer fits down there, and we've got a spare gas bottle, we're going to put it under there. We're going to use this table with worktop on top, the leftover worktop, and make a worktop next to the cooker. So this end of the kitchen will be sort of cooking prep, serving up, and this other end of the kitchen will be our tea and coffee station. So I've measured the gap. We're going to put the legs at the front so it can't tip, support behind it, and I've got to build this table up about 5 centimetres to get it to the right height with the worktop on. I'm quite happy now I get to work in the shed. So for this worktop's going to fit lovely on here. Obviously got to raise it a bit. I'm going to take this front leaf off here that bends forward, and where we cut the angle on the worktop to make it fit the corner properly, I've got to straighten this one edge, which I'm going to get my circular saw going for that. So I basically need to trim across here to make it square. That way, build it up, it should work. I've lifted this at the back, so this will be where it's supported. Like I say, we've got some nice edges to cover the edges when it's on. And then, you know, if you lean on it, it's going to be supported. I may just put a couple of blocks under it to support it at the back when it's in position. It's not really going to be fixed, it's going to be movable. But it should be great. So get the circular saw fired up in a minute. So that trim's gone on there very nicely. Looks good, makes it look a lot better. There's a slight mark there. I should just get the black stuff on that. And I'll put the trim on the other side as well. So that's how it's going to fit on. I'll just, I've got some little brackets to attach it with to those blocks in a couple of places. Make sure it doesn't move about. Then we'll move it down to the kitchen in a minute, see how it looks. So given the sides a coat of paint, white paint, and also underneath paint it white so it looks a bit better. Obviously it's a reused table, but hopefully it gets that sort of rustic look and fits in with the modern look of the kitchen now. So next thing, let it dry and then move it down into the kitchen. So put the unit in place, but it's way too big, so basically you're going to slim it down, cut it back, which shouldn't be too hard to do. Just got to run it through the saw and everything. So I managed to cut the unit back by 17 centimetres. Also chop this leg off so it'd fit on that platform there, and it fits perfectly. We've got the cooker gas bottle and our spare gas bottle under there out the way, so that's ideal. And now I'll give you a complete tour of the kitchen. So a little tour of the new kitchen, what we've done. You can spin it around. You can see the last little unit I just built. The gas bottles underneath and the cooker. There are the units in the background. We've got the LED lighting on as well as the normal lighting. Looking down the kitchen, there's Jackie in the background, just about to give the dogs a treat. But overall it's 14 foot of cupboard space, worktops. It's gone really well. I'll give you a full tour of the units in a minute and the breakdown on the prices. And then we've got this little worktop over here next to the cooker. So absolutely delighted with it. It's a bit of a game changer for us here. We never had any sort of kitchen really, just a sink. So kind of a modern kitchen in an old Portuguese house. So a big walk round. There's the new unit. Cooker gas, spare gas connected to it. We've got a cooker there. We are probably going to tile behind that one day. We've got room for the microwave. It's a nice bit of worktop. All the cupboards going along the top, 6 cupboards in total. There's our reused sink, but it's come out really well. Our tea and coffee, got the washing machine in there. Like I say, we are going to put a board across the bottom when we finish the rest of the kitchen. There's lots more room now. Works really well. I'll just switch off all the lights. So we've got our overhead lighting off. We've lit up the far end as well, where we've got the brooms and mops and things. And just switch off the main light. You can see, and then obviously we can have multicolours and mood lighting. It's absolutely brilliant. We're absolutely delighted. So the total cost, the units were €700 or 720 euros in total. And that's 11 units, base units, lots of drawers, the over the top cooker units, which are perfect for our space. Obviously this unit I made up myself. 2 worktops, they were 65 euros each. All the tiles, the cement, the few little extra bits we bought, the backsplash, which is only about 15 euros a strip, made of metal and plastic and rubber seals. That's really good. All of it from brico-marche. Total bill 1,020 euros in total, just under 1,020 euros in total. So less than £1,000. In our minds, we'd budgeted about £2,000 for the kitchen. Obviously, we're not finished yet. We've got flooring, walls to knock down still. But yeah, absolutely delighted. Well worth the money, well worth the result. And a very happy Jackie in the corner. Wendy watching her. Okay.
Thank you everyone for watching, liking and subscribing. Thanks for watching the video, and we'll see you again.